Stop everything you're doing right now, because what's about to unfold across America will change everything you thought you knew about this winter. I'm not talking about your typical weather forecast. We're witnessing the beginning of an atmospheric chain reaction that's about to unleash chaos. Starting today, tornado warnings are lighting up across the southeast, while California faces something meteorologists rarely see. But here's what's going to blow your mind. This weekend's sneaky ice storm is just the opening act for something much bigger. The Midwest and Great Lakes are about to get slammed with freezing rain that could shut down entire cities. Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit. You need to hear this because your Sunday could turn into a travel nightmare within hours. Then Wednesday changes everything as the most powerful storm system of the year begins forming. And here's why you should be paying attention. This isn't just another winter storm. We're tracking a monster that could deliver blizzards, tornadoes, and record-breaking heat simultaneously. While some cities freeze under feet of snow, others will shatter temperature records by 30 degrees, creating the perfect recipe for explosive weather. This clash between Arctic cold and tropical heat is about to trigger the most volatile weather pattern we've seen this decade. What I'm about to show you will explain exactly why millions of Americans need to prepare for multiple weather disasters hitting at once. The atmospheric setup developing right now is something weather models are calling unprecedented for January. To understand why this is so dangerous, we need to look at the jet stream, the river of air that controls America's weather. What's happening up there right now is about to flip our entire weather pattern upside down in ways that will shock you. Currently, that jet stream is pumping Arctic air straight into the Great Lakes, Midwest, and Northeast like a frozen fire hose. But here's where it gets crazy. By next week, that same jet stream will completely reverse direction. A massive ridge of high pressure is building across the southern plains. And when this thing strengthens, watch out. Temperatures are about to skyrocket across the Great Plains and East Coast in ways that will break weather records. We're talking about some areas getting close to record-breaking heat while others remain frozen, creating a meteorological powder keg. At the exact same time, a massive storm is forming along the West Coast. And this is where things get terrifying. Once this monster crosses the Rocky Mountains by Wednesday, it's going to explode into the most powerful storm system of the year. Wednesday and Thursday will see this system undergo what meteorologists call explosive intensification. It's going to bring severe weather, potentially catastrophic snow, and possibly even blizzard conditions to millions. The Central Plains, Northern Plains, and Midwest are directly in the path of this atmospheric bomb that's about to detonate. Every weather model is screaming the same thing. This will be the largest, most impactful storm system we've seen all year. And remember, we're only 10 days into January, but this storm could rewrite the record books. By Friday, this system will be so massive it could impact more Americans than any single weather event this winter. The computer models are showing upper-level winds so intense across the Northeast that Saturday could be historically violent. We're looking at a deadly combination of severe thunderstorms, blizzard conditions, and hurricane-force winds hitting simultaneously. Millions across the country are about to face multiple weather emergencies at the same time, and here's what makes it worse. The temperature swings coming next week are going to absolutely shatter your perception of what winter weather can do. We've been trapped in a frozen hellscape across the Midwest, Northern Plains, and Northeast for days. Even here in Florida, I'm wearing a hoodie because it's legitimately cold with temperatures stuck in the 50s. You Midwest folks think I'm crazy, but for Florida, this is practically Arctic, and what's coming next will blow your mind. Monday and Tuesday will trigger a warming trend so dramatic it will feel like stepping into a different season. The Great Plains are about to experience temperatures 20 to 30 degrees above normal. That's not a typo. While the Northeast stays brutally cold initially, by Wednesday and Thursday, prepare for something unprecedented. Almost the entire United States will be colored orange and red on temperature maps, meaning dangerous heat for January. There will be virtually no exceptions. Nearly every American will experience above-average temperatures simultaneously. But here's the terrifying part. Friday and Saturday could bring temperatures 30 to 35 degrees above average. Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois could see temperature departures so extreme they trigger severe weather in January. When you get that kind of heat pumping into the Midwest while cold air battles nearby, explosive thunderstorms develop. This storm system racing toward the Midwest on Thursday could unleash severe weather where snow should be falling. I'm not ruling out tornadoes, damaging winds, or dangerous thunderstorms in areas that should be frozen solid. Friday afternoon will bring record-shattering heat to Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and Illinois that could be historically significant. Then by the weekend, temperatures will crash back down across the Southeast, creating whiplash weather that's dangerous for everyone. No Arctic blasts are visible yet, but I'm tracking a potential deep freeze around January 15th that could be brutal. But before we get there, today's severe weather threats are already developing, and you need to know about them right now. 2 separate tornado threats are brewing, one across the Southeast and another near San Francisco that meteorologists are watching closely. The biggest concern today is isolated tornadoes that could spin up with little warning across California and the Southeast. Here's something wild. We already had our first tornado of 2026 just hours after the new year began. Literally 12 hours into 2026, a tornado touched down near 3 Points, Arizona, setting an ominous tone for this year. Today could add more tornadoes to that total across both California and the Southeast, so stay alert. Have your tornado action plan ready and multiple ways to receive warnings because storms can develop quickly. Here's the critical timing for Southeast severe weather. It's going to be chaotic, but dangerous. If supercells organize between 2 and 4 p.m. in Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, tornadoes could spin up rapidly. The setup makes tornado development difficult, but Tallahassee sits in the primary danger zone for isolated tornadoes. Between 3 and 6 p.m., brief but dangerous tornadoes could develop. Then storms will organize into a destructive line. By 7 to 8 p.m., this storm line will blast through central Florida before weakening, leading to a gorgeous Sunday across the Southeast. Now here's what everyone's missing about Sunday's winter weather threat. It's designed to catch people completely off guard. We're not talking massive snow amounts, but this fast-hitting system will dump heavy snow so quickly, visibility will become dangerous. Road conditions could deteriorate in minutes, creating deadly driving situations across multiple states. Expect widespread 1 to 3 inches across Michigan's Upper Peninsula, northern Michigan, and northern Minnesota. This isn't like our recent winter storms, but highway disasters could happen fast when heavy snow hits. But here's the hidden danger. Sleet accumulations up to 1/10 of an inch could make roads like ice rinks. Wisconsin and Minnesota will see this sleet threat, plus freezing rain that could create catastrophic driving conditions. While not a major ice storm, any untreated surface will become a skating rink, causing accidents and injuries. Minneapolis, you're in the bullseye for freezing rain Sunday, and this could shut down your entire metro area. Any untreated roads will be like glass, so if you must drive, expect extremely dangerous conditions. Monday and Tuesday will see more storms hammering the West Coast in typical January fashion. This brings crucial drought relief, but also sets up the atmospheric energy for what's coming later in the week. Tuesday might spawn another system in the Midwest with mixed snow and rain, but it's a minor player in this bigger story. This disturbance could strengthen as it reaches the Northeast Wednesday, but Thursday is when everything explodes. Thursday is the day that could change everything because massive energy crossing the Rockies will collide with Gulf moisture. When these two forces merge over Kansas, we could witness the birth of a monster storm system. Thursday's setup could produce severe thunderstorms and blizzard conditions simultaneously across different regions. Current weather models are struggling to handle the severe weather threat, showing just how complex and dangerous this system is. Severe weather is definitely possible, but it's such an unusual setup that forecasters are having trouble pinpointing specifics. What's more certain is significant snow from the Rocky Mountains straight into the Midwest heartland. How heavy this snow gets and how widespread it becomes could determine whether we're looking at a historic blizzard. With this type of explosive storm development, blizzard conditions are absolutely possible across parts of the Midwest. Friday could be the day that defines winter 2026 for millions of Americans across the Midwest and beyond. Recent weather models show this storm growing broader and larger, which creates both opportunities and concerns. A broader system might struggle to produce concentrated severe weather, but it could spread dangerous conditions across more states. It might have trouble organizing intense tornadoes or blizzards, but could create widespread hazardous weather instead. The next few days will determine whether this becomes a focused nightmare or a widespread disaster. By next weekend, things should calm down, but this week could be remembered as a turning point in our winter weather. The heat wave, multiple storm systems, and extreme weather contrast make this week unprecedented for January. Let me give you city-specific warnings because where you live determines what type of disaster you might face. Chicago, brace for Sunday's ice threat, then prepare for whiplash as Friday brings potentially record-breaking heat. Detroit faces the same ice Sunday followed by dramatic warmth, creating dangerous travel and health impacts. Minneapolis, your ground zero for Sunday's freezing rain disaster. This could paralyze your entire metropolitan area. Milwaukee will see snow and sleet Sunday before transitioning to unusually mild conditions that could shatter records. Atlanta, today's severe weather could produce tornadoes before Thursday brings dangerous heat that's unprecedented for January. Tampa and Orlando, isolated tornadoes are possible this afternoon and evening. Have your severe weather plans ready now. Dallas and Oklahoma City are positioned perfectly for Thursday's severe weather and snow combination. This could be historic. Kansas City, you're sitting directly in the path of Thursday's monster storm development. Prepare for multiple hazards. St. Louis could experience severe weather, blizzard conditions, and record heat within a single 24-hour period. Indianapolis and Cincinnati are prime targets for Friday's record-breaking heat that could be historically significant. Cleveland and Pittsburgh should prepare for Thursday's storm, potentially bringing significant snow and dangerous winds. New York City and Philadelphia are monitoring whether Thursday's monster tracks toward the northeast corridor. Boston and northeast cities remain in play for late-week impacts depending on this storm's exact path and intensity. Temperature differences of 50 degrees will exist simultaneously across America, creating explosive atmospheric conditions. This temperature gradient provides nuclear energy for storm development that meteorologists rarely witness in January. Weather patterns like this create perfect conditions for storms that intensify rapidly and produce multiple hazards. The jet stream setup supports wave after wave of storm development, each potentially more dangerous than the last. This creates a forecasting nightmare with multiple possible outcomes ranging from bad to catastrophic. Current trends point toward Thursday's storm having the highest potential for historic impacts across multiple states. This single system could affect more Americans than any weather event this winter, potentially disrupting millions of lives. Travel chaos is virtually guaranteed across multiple time zones and transportation networks. Airlines should prepare for massive delays and cancellations that could ripple across the entire national aviation system. Ground transportation faces potentially catastrophic disruptions from snow, ice, severe weather, and extreme winds. Emergency management across the central United States should activate disaster response protocols immediately. The combination of severe weather and winter precipitation creates dual disasters requiring completely different responses. Power outages could affect millions from hurricane-force winds, heavy ice, and severe thunderstorm damage. Rural areas could face life-threatening isolation with limited emergency response capabilities during multiple hazards. Agricultural operations should secure livestock and equipment immediately for rapid weather changes that could be deadly. Construction and outdoor industries need to shut down operations in areas expecting dangerous weather conditions. School districts across the Midwest should prepare for extended closures or emergency sheltering procedures. This represents the most complex and dangerous weather pattern we've analyzed this winter season. It's exactly the type of atmospheric setup that creates weather disasters meteorologists study for decades. Multiple weather systems are about to interact in ways that could rewrite weather records across the continent. Each component feeds energy into the next, creating a cascade of atmospheric violence that's rare and dangerous. This is why pattern recognition is crucial. Individual storms pale compared to the bigger atmospheric story. Understanding the pattern helps predict not just what's happening, but the catastrophic potential of what's coming next. This setup suggests our active pattern could persist through late January, potentially bringing more extreme weather. January often brings major pattern shifts, and we're witnessing one that could define the rest of winter 2026. This transition from quiet to explosive weather represents a complete atmospheric reorganization across North America. Energy sources from Pacific and Atlantic patterns are colliding in ways that create these dangerous cascade effects. Global weather connections are creating unprecedented interactions that could trigger historic weather events. What happens in one region now influences weather thousands of miles away, demonstrating our atmosphere's incredible complexity. This requires analyzing the entire continental weather picture rather than focusing on individual local conditions. Local weather is just one piece of a massive atmospheric puzzle spanning the entire North American continent. Understanding these connections allows meteorologists to provide warnings that could save lives during extreme events. The next 48 hours are absolutely critical for determining Thursday's exact impacts and dangerous potential. Model trends during this period will determine whether we're looking at a significant event or a historic disaster. When multiple weather models agree, confidence skyrockets that dangerous weather is definitely coming. When models disagree, meteorologists analyze atmospheric physics to determine which scenario is most likely and dangerous. This is where decades of experience become crucial for interpreting complex data and issuing accurate warnings. Computer models provide data, but human expertise determines how to communicate life-saving information to the public. The combination of technology and meteorological experience produces the most reliable and actionable weather forecasts. This developing situation shows exactly why people need professional weather sources during dangerous patterns. Social media chaos and amateur weather speculation create deadly confusion when lives are at stake. Professional meteorologists provide life-saving context that automated systems and weather enthusiasts simply cannot deliver. Years of education and experience analyzing dangerous weather patterns are essential for accurate public warnings. This is why I always emphasize following credible meteorological sources for weather information that could save your life. Drop your city in the comments if you want specific warnings for your area during this dangerous pattern. I'll provide targeted forecasts as time allows throughout this potentially historic weather event. If this forecast helped you understand the dangerous setup ahead, smash that like button and subscribe for life-saving updates. Your engagement helps us reach people who desperately need reliable weather information during extreme events like this. Tomorrow's update will have crucial details about Thursday's monster storm, as models refine the exact impacts. This situation is evolving rapidly, requiring constant monitoring and immediate updates as dangerous weather approaches. Thursday's system could be the most significant weather event of winter 2026, with impacts lasting days or weeks. Hit that notification bell immediately so you don't miss critical updates about this potentially historic weather disaster. Ring the bell now, because when this storm hits, you'll need every update to stay safe and informed. This week we'll test everything we know about winter weather as multiple extreme events unfold simultaneously. Stay alert, stay prepared, and we'll track every dangerous development in this unprecedented weather pattern together.